Well, hello, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, the show in which I drink alone, and I wish you were here. Today you'll notice a conspicuous absence of Regarding Cocktails by Sasha Petrovsky. We're going off-book, off-script a little bit, and we're going to make a tiki drink. We're going to make a Mai Tai. I love this drink, and I want to tell you more about it. So I'm going to taste this lime here to get a sense for how much sweetness we need to counteract it, and it's a perfect lime. We're going to get 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. So the Mai Tai, one of the most misunderstood cocktails, I think, because when you think about a Mai Tai, you think like, oh, it's like a couple rums and pineapple juice and orange juice. It's very like tropical and fruity, and that is totally wrong and not the drink that we're going to make today. The history of the Mai Tai and of tiki in general, I think, is really interesting, and I'm going to sneak as much of it in as I can. But importantly, the recipe for this drink: 3/4 lime, and then this is 1/4 ounce of a demerara syrup. So this is a homemade simple syrup that I made. 1/4 ounce of it. It is 2 parts of demerara sugar to 1 part water, and then a touch of vanilla and a touch of salt to give a little bit of extra complexity. We're going to follow that with 1/2 ounce of orgeat. Orgeat is an almond syrup. This is homemade. There are a number of recipes you can find online. So it's a 1/2 ounce, and the way that you make this is essentially you toast almonds, steep them in simple syrup, like grind them, steep them in simple syrup for a while, and then a lot of recipes call for adding complexity. This one adds orange blossom water, so some floral notes that can contribute to that. Now this is going to be a 1/2 ounce of Pierre Ferrand's Curacao. So this is a high-end Curacao. We've talked about this a few times. Bitter orange liqueur. And then we're going to use 2 ounces of rum. Now there's a lot to say about rums, but this is essentially the only medium-bodied rum that I have. I have a clear rum, I have a dark rum, and I've got a medium rum. This is a nice aged rum. It's relatively affordable, and that's what we're using today is Zaya. But more on rum later. Now, I'm going to crack a few cubes in here and tell you a little bit more about tiki. So tiki initially came around in the 30s. There was a place in Los Angeles that opened up with this Polynesian theme and then became very popular really after World War II, when guys who were fighting in the Pacific Theater were coming back from the R&R with all these very fond memories and some sort of nostalgia for this Oceania, Polynesia culture that they were getting to experience. And a restaurant in Oakland, California called Trader Vic's opened up and then became a very popular chain, and a tiki movement was started. So Trader Vic's actually were across the country. There was one in Washington, D.C. that is actually famous because Richard Nixon actually made the Mai Tai the official drink of his campaign, and they apparently he and Pat Nixon celebrated Valentine's Day at Trader Vic's. But in any case, this is as close as I can get to the original recipe. This comes from Martin Kate, who owns Smuggler's Cove in San Francisco, which is one of the best premier tiki revival restaurants that's on the forefront of bringing some of this culture back. So this drink, you can see, is very much like a sour build. We've got 2 ounces of rum, we've got some orange liqueur, we've got a little bit of sweet, we've got the sour, and what differentiates this really is some of the richness, some of the aromatic notes from vanilla, orange flower water, sweet almond, the molasses that comes with the demerara. And that gives it a little bit more depth and complexity than some of ours. Now, a garnish for this drink is very specific. It's a spent lime shell and a sprig of mint. 1, the mint is going to give a little bit of nose to it, and then 2, it's supposed to represent an island and a little palm tree. So, there you have it. The Mai Tai. Cheers. Overflowing. Oh god, it's so fucking good. It is so... Oh, it's so good. It's got so much going for it. It's like rich and sweet and interesting and complex. It's like layers and waves of flavors. It's just, we're gonna drink some more of this. A quick aside: the Royal Hawaiian Hotel made a version of a Mai Tai with tons of fruit juice, and that ended up being what was popular and remembered, and that's why everyone's wrong. This is a Mai Tai, and this is an amazing drink, and I can't wait to make more. Anyway, till next time, cheers.